Okay, so now in this video we're gonna make our main menu workable. We're gonna control the game brightness and the mouse sensitivity. Alright, so if we open this up, then all options, then game options, and here we have the brightness right here. Alright, and this brightness has a slider. So we're gonna control the brightness by using this slider. We're gonna pass a minimum and maximum value to this slider, and then whatever we set the value right here, then we're gonna apply that value to our in-game brightness, and the same for our mouse sensitivity. So first of all, for providing the minimum and maximum value to this slider and then setting the value and then storing that value, for that we're gonna create a script right here. So in the scripts folder, go inside UI, and in the UI make a script by the name of main menu. Then click on main menu and drag and drop this script. Then let's open this up. Alright, and at the top, let's first of all start from the brightness. So for the brightness, we're gonna create a range from 0 to 1, and then this will be the range of this float, which will be by the name of brightness, and by default its value will be 1. Alright, then we need a reference to the slider, so name this as brightness slider. Then after this we're gonna create a private const string by the name of brightness pref key, and it will be by the name of brightness. Alright, let me tell you that we're gonna store the values right here on this main menu script using player prefs. You can read more about player prefs in Unity if you check out the Unity documentations. Alright, we use player pref to store things locally on device. Alright, now let's first of all make a method in which we're gonna set up the brightness. So let's name this as set brightness. It will be needing a parameter which will be of type float, and its name will be value, and we're gonna set the brightness to whatever this value will be, and then we're gonna store this value in the player pref. And as I told you, we use player pref to store data locally on the device. Alright, so we're gonna say player prefs dot set float. Let's pass the brightness pref key and then the brightness float. Alright, and this will save the brightness value. Then we will ensure that the player pref is safe. So in order to do that, we're gonna use the player prefs actually, and then dot save keyword, and this will save the brightness value locally on the device. Now we want that in the start method we want to load the save brightness value if it exists, and if it doesn't exist, the player start the game newly or install the game newly, then we're gonna set the value to default. So I'm gonna show you how you can do that. This gonna be equals to player prefs dot get float. Since we are getting the data back, we want to get the data which we stored in the brightness pref key. Alright, and if we have anything in it, then we're gonna get that, otherwise we will pass the default value. Alright, and then we're gonna say brightness slider dot value, it gonna be equals to brightness. Alright, and then whenever we change the slider value, alright, we want to save that instantly, alright, because we don't have any save button, and in most of the games there is no save button in the main menu, and whenever we do any changes it just save automatically, alright. So in order to save this value automatically, we will say brightness slider dot on value changed dot add listener, and to this let's pass the set brightness method, alright. And of course we want to set the slider minimum and maximum value as well, so for that we will say brightness slider dot minimum value will be equals to 0, and the maximum value of the brightness slider dot max value will be equals to 1, alright. So we want to do that as well. And since we are dealing with UI, so make sure that at the top you add using Unity engine dot UI, and right here it is on value changed, alright. So now get back to Unity. Right here on the main menu we have the brightness slider, in which we is storing the value, and then drag and drop the brightness slider from here. In the all options we have this brightness, and in here we have this slider, so drag and drop that and then select this slider. As you can see, the minimum and maximum value is this, and this is the value. So now when we start the game you will notice this value will change to the values which we type in the script. As you can see, minimum value changed to 0, maximum to 1, and the value is 1. Alright, we can now click on options, game, and in here as you can see, when we increase or decrease it the value changes, alright, according to that. So now for example, if we leave this as 0, it will now store the value 0, and if we close the game and then start the game again, you will notice that now this value will be 0. Alright, it is set to 0.5, 0.25, and I still didn't get it why it did that. So let me change this minimum value to 0 manually, alright, and the maximum value to 1. Alright, then play the game again. Alright, now as you can see it is 0. Alright, so you have to change this minimum and maximum value manually at first, and then it will work perfectly fine. Alright, now if we change it to 0.5 for example, alright, let's stop the game, play the game again, you will notice the value will be the same value which we set, as you can see. Alright, if you want you can use whole values as well, so then you will not have that in between options, but we want that in between options, so that's why I've didn't add whole numbers. So now we can change the brightness and store the brightness value. Right, in the next video what we're gonna do, we're gonna store the mouse sensitivity values. So for that, see you guys in the next one.